Hey everybody, welcome to today's show. Welcome to Disabled Reality. I'm your host, Anthony Lorito-Duke, and we have a very interesting topic for today's show in which it is if people don't want migrants living in their neighborhood for illegal reasons, then it'll backfire on them in court. So let's get right into this. I'm seeing a lot of people that are doing all these peaceful protests saying that they don't want migrants living in their neighborhood, right? And some of them are saying, well, uh, these people are not vaccinated, they can have a criminal history, and all this other stuff. Now, people can do peaceful protests if they want to. That's their right to do so. Okay. Now, here's a few things. Number one, if the property that the government is trying to put these migrants on to live, if that property is government owned, then uh, the government can and will basically do whatever they want to do. Okay, and people can uh, have it taken to court to put a temporary hold on it, and so on and so forth, and things will get played out in court. Now, um, if it does go to court, okay, and let's say the judge is reasonable and says to the city officials, listen, you got to prove that these migrants are vaccinated, okay? And, um, if the people say, like, they don't want their neighborhood to look like a slum, the courts can work with the city and the government officials to make sure, that that issue is uh, met, met uh, and dealt with, you know. And then if the people turn around and say, well, what if the migrants have a criminal history and so on and so forth? The courts can limit the information that the people in the community are entitled to. You know, you can't get all personal information. You can't get their social security number. You can't get all their private information. Certain information could be put out by the courts, by court order, to say, like, okay, maybe this information could be put to the people in the community. And if the city works with the court's order and the city does what the city is court ordered to do, and if the city meets the court's demands and stuff, then there's really nothing else that the people in the community can really do. Now, at the same time, if the people in the community that are doing this protest prove to be uh, white supremacists or whatever, and say, if it's proven that the only reason that they don't want the migrants in their neighborhood because if they only want white Americans living in their neighborhood, you can't have it that way. Okay, and the courts could work against them in the courts. Okay, and since we're on this topic, you know, if people are going around saying they only want certain people living in their neighborhood, or they don't want certain people living in their neighborhoods, it's kind of bringing me back to the days where people are saying, like, I don't want gay people living in my neighborhood, or I don't want people with mental disability living in my neighborhood. You have uh, uh you can't have it that way. All right, there are laws that protect people. Seriously, you can't stop a gay couple from moving into your neighborhood, or a person with a mental disability to reside in your neighborhood. You don't own the neighborhood. Seriously, you know, and it's just bringing me back to the days when when people are saying not in my backyard, not in my backyard, and thank goodness that laws were created to stop people like that. You know, it's like these white supremacists that only want white Americans living in their neighborhood. You can't have it that way. No. So if you think you're being smart and doing all these protests and saying let's we'll stop it in court and whatever, if it's proven in the court that you're a white supremacist and the only reason why you don't want migrants living in your neighborhood is because of racial bias reasons, it's gonna come. It's gonna backfire on you in court. Seriously. So you gotta be careful. Be very careful. You know. Um. So I think that if the judge, if when these things do go to court, they should get a good judge that would work with both sides and stuff like that. And as long as the city can meet the demands of the orders of the court, then those people have a right to live there. That's it. Especially if it's on, let's say, if it's on federal property, right? Who has the control of the federal property? The federal government. So if President Biden gives the okay for those people to live on a federal government property, there is nothing really that the people can really do. I mean, they could put a temporary hold on it and take the government to court, and it could play out in court and stuff like that. But other than that, there's nothing that they can do. That's it, you know. So, um, I believe these cases will go to courts and stuff like that, and it'll play out in the court of law, and everything. And I promise you, when it goes to court, everything is going to be exposed. Everything on both sides. So, you know, that's really about it on that topic. So, but anyways, I wanted to remind all my fans out there about the business that my husband and I have together called AWLDNY. The link to there is awldny.com. You guys could check out all the items on there. And I also wanted to remind all my fans out there about my other business, my other website that I have called Applicant Information Highway. And the link to there is AIHNY.com. Again, that is AIHNY.com. And you guys could check out all the pages on there. And so with that, take care, everybody. Bye.